I'm going to be talking about sleeping to win. So what we're going to cover is some of the simple keys to optimize your sleep, the mystic nature of sleep according to 5,000-year-old traditions that I learned as a monk and different yoga practices, and also the right environment for sleeping and some really cool tech for sleeping. So why I'm talking about this is because out of all the different pillars of health, according to Ayurveda, which is India's most ancient health and healing science, there's diet, lifestyle, sleep, and maintenance of your sexual energy as 4 pillars for optimal health. And out of all of them, optimizing your sleep is going to provide the highest level of return when it comes to your personal well-being. And it's something that we have the opportunity to do every single night, that you don't have to add anything else in to be able to accomplish. So it's like the lowest hanging fruit. You don't have to go on some huge diet or make some massive changes to your lifestyle, but rather optimizing a few key things can provide exponential returns. And if you don't get why I'm talking about this, then go ahead and just don't sleep for a night or two, and then try to work on something intellectual or important or high level, and you'll see very quickly how important sleep is to your level of performance and to the quality of the decisions that you make. And as leaders, as artists, as coaches, healers, as entrepreneurs, the quality of our business is only going to be dependent on the quality of our decisions. And the quality of our decisions is going to be dependent on the consciousness in which we make those decisions. And the quality of our consciousness is going to be dependent upon our psychosomatic state or our psychophysiological state of being and wellness, the apparatus that we're operating through. So with that being said, I'm going to just start off with some of the lowest hanging fruit as far as simple things you can immediately implement from Ayurveda, which is this ancient healing science that dramatically improve the level and quality of sleep that you have right now. So some simple keys is one, to avoid electronics at least an hour before bed, ideally, at least bare minimum 30 minutes before bed. This is a well-known fact already, but you're going to basically mess up your circadian rhythm, which is controlled through your optics with the light that you're taking in. And basically your body cannot fully detoxify and your cells cannot fully detoxify when there's stimulation of light coming back in, because you're not going to be producing melatonin and you're not going to be getting sleepier. And basically all the artificial light that we ingest through screens and through lights in the house, that's going to disrupt our natural rhythms. So in service of that, using candlelight as much as possible as the only light in your bedroom after the sun goes down. Use candles as much as you can after the sun goes down instead of bright LEDs or screens or any sort of bulb. A huge one that a lot of people don't follow is avoiding eating 2 to 3 hours before bed, because sleep is for healing the body, detoxifying the body, and integrating the subconscious mind with the conscious mind. And eating disrupts all of those things. The process of digestion is going to prevent the liver from properly turning on, activating, and flushing out all the toxins from your body. So how you can tell is just eat a bunch before bed, go to sleep. You're probably not going to fall asleep as quickly as you normally would. And also you're probably going to dream a lot, which is going to give you less of a restful sleep because your mind is so active. And then on top of that, you're going to wake up groggier because you spent all this energy trying to digest that food. And part of it's going to remain undigested because you can't fully digest while you're sleeping. So then there's going to be toxicity in your body, which is apparent by residue that's on your tongue. So if you look on your tongue and you see that white or yellowish coating on top of your tongue in the morning, that's your body attempting to detoxify. And if there's a heavy coat, it means there's a lot of toxicity in the body. So please scrape your tongue. Go buy a copper tongue scraper and remove that layer, because you're going to get 30-40% of the previous day's toxicity removed from your body just by that one thing, and it cost $2 on Amazon or whatever. So yeah, avoid eating 2 to 3 hours before bed because it takes a few hours to digest, and digesting is going to interrupt detoxification process, the integration and healing process that occurs when we're sleeping. Directionality. So this is a subtle one that I don't think a lot of people, I haven't seen really anybody talk about it who hasn't studied these mystical sciences of Ayurveda. But how you can think about it is where you want to place your head and what direction you want your bed to be facing according to the Earth's magnetic pole. So obviously we know that there's magnetic north and magnetic south of the earth, and the body is also a magnet, which is why the head tends to be hot and the feet tend to be cold. And so, for instance, what happens when you bring two positive ends of a magnet together, there's this resistance and this fighting energy. And so when you have your head, your north magnetic pole, facing the same direction as the Earth's magnetic north, right? Positive, positive. Those energies are going to fight. And guess what? Your body's magnetic energy is a lot weaker than the Earth's magnetic energy. So there's that subtle fighting that's going to be happening with the Earth's magnetic field and your body's magnetic field. So ideally, you want to sleep with your head to the south for prioritizing deep sleep, or having your head face east, which is for more nourishing the intellect, people who like to study, who like to meditate. It's going to give a little bit lighter of a sleep, but it's going to nourish the intellect a little bit more because it's facing towards that rising sun and also away from that north magnetic push. And another thing is what directionality of your particular body on the bed. So not just what direction your head is facing, but how you're laying. So ideally, you want to sleep on your left side down, right? LSD is what we call it, even as monks in the ashram. You want to do LSD, left side down. And that's the natural flow of how the food is going to move from your, ascending colon to your descending colon. It's going to prioritize moving through your digestive tract, and instead of when you lay on your right side, the food moving through your digestive tract is going to be at a disadvantage because you're laying in the wrong direction. It has to fight gravity to go through your descending colon. So a little bit of technicality there, but laying on your left side is supportive of digestion, which again is going to be supportive of sleep because you want to be digesting as little as possible while sleeping. But if there is still some process of digestion, sleeping on the left side is going to help. Now, I will say, laying on your right side, when you lay on your right side, just notice this, try it out. If you lay on your right side, it suppresses the right channel of your body, which is the active channel of your body. It's the energizing channel of your body. So when you lay on your right side, it suppresses the right, and you'll notice your left nostril will open and your right nostril will start to close. And when you breathe through your left nostril, it immediately is going to calm your nervous system and create a more relaxed energy. So sometimes if I can't sleep, I'll lay on my right side, it'll open up my left nostril, and then that calming energy will make me really tired, and then I'll switch to my left side to actually sleep. Again, it's subtleties, don't get too heady about it, but just try it out. Do this as a science experiment because everyone's body is going to be different, but these are 1,000+ year old principles that I have found extreme success with and helped hundreds of people as well when I was giving Ayurveda consultations and helping people heal. Another thing is to make tomorrow easier today. So all those micro decisions that you have to make tomorrow morning, like what you're going to wear, what you're going to eat, etc., I just make those decisions in the nighttime. So one thing I do, which is another big thing, is sleep hygiene. Showering before bed is massive. They've done 1 trillion studies on sleep hygiene and how important it is. Having really clean sheets that you wash frequently, and also washing your own body, brushing your teeth, cleaning your entire vessel before sleeping. So I shower before bed, and then on nights before I go to the gym, I wear fresh clothes that are gym clothes. So when I wake up, I can just wash my face, brush my teeth, scrape my tongue, prepare my tea, hot water, whatever, and go to the gym. And I don't have to think about, okay, what am I going to wear? I'm already wearing what I need to wear for my morning routine. And then, of course, I go to the gym. After the gym, I shower, etc. So just try to think about, what are all the things that I usually have to run around finding out in the morning to get ready for your morning routine or get ready for your day, and just make those things as easy as possible the night before. So then you can have that really nice experience when you wake up and make your next day that much easier. Timing of sleep is more important than hours of sleep. Okay, this is huge. So one principle in Ayurvedic medicine is that oversleep is just as destructive as undersleeping. And there's a few exceptions to this. So if you're elderly, if you're a small child, and people experiencing different illnesses, those are three people that sleep should not be interrupted. Elderly people, kids, and people who have different illnesses. Those are people who should be allowed to sleep at any time of day and as much as they desire for the most part. Okay, there's exceptions to that, but the main point is you want to prioritize and optimize the hours of the day that you're falling asleep and the hours of the day that you're waking up over the quantity of sleep that you get. Obviously, both are important, but the timing is more important than the quantity. Because at 10 p.m., which is a general time frame, it's different based on the time of season, whatever time of year. But at 10 p.m., the intellect activates again. Different active parts of our body activate once again. And you probably have experienced this before, like being really tired 8, 9 p.m. and then 10:30 rolls around and you get that second wind of energy. This is your body's way of just biologically protecting itself. When you're awake at that time, it seems okay, maybe there's something wrong. Maybe there's danger. Maybe I need to stay up and be on the lookout. So you get that second wind, but you want to, as much as possible, fall asleep before that active energy of the mind comes along. And also, as I was mentioning earlier, how sleep is really a detoxification mechanism. A lot of the detox organs, like the liver, turn on around that time of night. And if you're not asleep and digested by that time, they don't fully function. And so then you get a lot of toxicity when you wake up the next day and you still feel sluggish. It's best to sleep at or before 10 p.m. or by the very latest, like 11 p.m. And then wake up by sunrise or before sunrise, ideally, because those are going to be the conjunctions of the day where before 10 p.m. the energy is heavy. After 10 p.m. the energy of the atmosphere becomes lighter, which is why you get that second wind. And then also in the morning, before sunrise or around sunrise, the energy is very light in the atmosphere. And so when you wake up, you can feel more refreshed and light, especially when you get in the habit of doing it, versus waking up after sunrise, the energy becomes heavier and more grounded and more earth energy. A general principle is each hour of sleep before 11 or 12 at night counts as 1.5 or 2 hours of sleep. You want to optimize that sleep pattern. So those are some simple lifestyle keys: avoiding electronics, using candlelight, avoiding eating 2 to 3 hours before bed, sleeping with the head to the south or the east, directionality, sleeping on your left side, making tomorrow easier today by preparing what you're going to wear, sleep hygiene, showering before bed, and then optimizing the hour that you go to bed and the hour that you wake up over the quantity of sleep that you get. Now let's talk about environment for sleeping. This is pretty straightforward, but you want to make sure you have proper air circulation and proper temperature. So the body's going to be more at rest when the atmosphere is a little bit cooler than if it's warmer and stuffy and muggy. So when there's proper airflow and it's a little bit cooler in the room, you're going to get way better sleep. So make sure you have those things, whether that's cracking the window, whether that's having the right AC. There's also a few devices that like create airflow in your actual bed that you can put like under your duvet. I haven't ever tried them, but I've seen other people who really liked them. Noise. So you want to have pretty much zero noise. And I have lived in very noisy environments, like when I was living in New York City, when I was living as a monk and there was 10 people sharing one ashram space. It was really hard for me because I was a light sleeper at that time. And so the best thing I found is silicone earplugs. Those are the best. Like the foam ones, they tend to pop out and they also don't really block much noise. But the silicone ones, they're very dense and you can mold them to the outside of your ear. You don't want to press them in your ear canal, obviously, but you mold them around your ear so that they are snug and it blocks out like 90+% of noise. So I wear those a lot. Even if there's just a little noise, I like to reduce the chance of being disturbed in the night. Complete darkness is also something to optimize for. So having blackout curtains, if there's any like electronics in the room, which by the way, I recommend removing all electronics, but if there are electronics for whatever reason you need to keep in the room, you need to cover the LED lights that they have with a little black sticker or something. Just so that there's no light in the room. Another thing that's really important is that you have your sleeping space be just for sleeping. Like if you look at our bedroom, it's just a bed and two nightstands and a nice rug. There's not a lot of noise because when you have like a lot of pictures on the walls and a lot of different items and decor, it makes the space more energetically noisy. And also when you have a TV and you have other things and a huge bookshelf, and it activates the mind. It needs to be as neutral as possible. You can still make it beautiful and pleasing, but from a more neutral aesthetic perspective. That's really important. Like, just use your room for sleeping. Ideally, like, I get it. Sometimes maybe you have to have an office in your room or something like that, but try as much as possible to at least like not use your computer while in bed or phone while in bed. And just the bed is for sleeping. That's the association we want to create. At the very least, put your phone on airplane mode and put it across the room when you sleep. At the very least. I get it, like maybe you want to use your phone as your alarm, that's fine. I would just keep it on airplane mode and definitely don't check it when you wake up, because the last thing you need to do is be disturbed by a trillion notifications, Gmail, Instagram, Slack, Facebook, Messenger, right when your consciousness is arising in the morning. It's a great way to ruin your brain. Then the actual materials for your bedding. So you want to use 100% cotton. You don't want to have synthetics that are rubbing up against your skin all night. Also, many mattresses have a lot of harmful chemicals and things like that in them, and you're inhaling it all night. These noxious, very subtle, noxious fumes. So I want to make sure you find a manufacturer of mattresses or whatever you're sleeping on that doesn't use all these harsh chemicals that you're breathing in trace amounts of every single evening. And the same goes for your pillows, same goes for your sheets, same goes for the pajamas that you wear. Essentially, it's ideal that they're 100% cotton or natural. The last thing I'll mention is some optional tech. So I'll put the link to some of these things in the description underneath this. But the first is RA Optics. So I actually have my pair here, and they're by far the best blue blocking glasses. They're like 99% protection, and they also like don't look horrible, because for a while I was using like these construction like glasses that are also like 99% protection from blue wavelength of light, which I would use when I was on the computer or devices at night if I needed to be on the devices at night. But these are the pair that I have, and I really like them, and I'm not going to wear them during the day, but if I need to finish something up at night, then I'll wear these, and they don't look horrible. Actually, quite like how they look, and yeah, they actually do the job. A lot of blue blocking glasses don't block the right spectrum. That's one. I'll put a link in the bio if you want to check those out. I think they're the best blue blocking glasses out there. Flux is a free software for optimizing your screen brightness and the wavelength of light that your display displays, dependent on the time of day and the location that you're in. So it has a little GPS locator, it knows where your device is, it knows what time of day it is, and depending on the time of day, as the sun rises, as the sun reaches its peak, and as the sun goes down, it changes your display much better than a lot of the inbuilt functions like night mode or sleep mode, or I don't know what all the names are for the natural iMac and iPhone blue light blocker kind of softwares, but it's the best one that I've ever had, and it's completely free. So I'll link that too if you want to add it to your devices. I think it's a no-brainer to add. And then the last thing that I'll mention, which is a little bit of an investment here, but it's been very helpful for me, especially now I'm a father and I need to optimize my sleep as a father, and as a business owner. And so the Aura Ring, OURA, is a device that I've only recently started using in the last month or so, but it's been really helpful because the more things you measure in life, the more information you have to make the right decisions. And so if I see, man, I'm waking up at these times at night, or and I don't even know it, or I'm not moving as much as I should be, or whatever it is, this ring that I have has little sensors on it. You can't see it, but it's connected to an app, and I get the details of my heart rate, of the level of activity that I have. Let me see if I can pull it up real quick. And it shows me after I sleep it gives me a readiness score for the day. So it goes from, I think the scale is 0 to 100. 100 would be like absolutely incredible sleep. Like, maybe you have that sleep like a few times a year and you're at 100. But you want to be at least an 80 plus readiness score, because then you're not going to get groggy in the middle of the day or at the end of the day. And so, like for instance, today it gave me my readiness score of 82. You can see that right here. Yep. So it gives me that information every single day. And it also shows me what my sleep is looking like. So I didn't get as much sleep as I wanted last night, 6 hours and 49 minutes. And I was in bed for 7.5 hours, and my sleep efficiency was 90%, and my sleep score was a little bit down. It was a 78 sleep score. And it shows my deep sleep, REM sleep, readiness, how long it took me to actually fall asleep from the time I laid in bed. And it shows me all those details, and it gives me a graph of when I went to bed, when I was in light sleep, REM sleep, and deep sleep, and when I woke up. And it shows me all of that information. So I really like it, and it also keeps me on track with my exercise and workout goals and tells me like how long I've been sitting still. So it's like, hey, you have been sitting here for 2 hours. You need to get up and move. And it's going to show me that. It's going to give me a score for the day. How long was I just sitting in one place? So it's a lot of really great information. And I'll also link that below if you're interested. It is like, $200 something or $300, but I think it's a no-brainer, because just by having that, your quality of life, because of the data that you have, you're going to make better decisions. You're going to be more aware of optimizing your sleep, your movement, your eating, your breathing, your exercise, etc. And it's going to more than pay for itself in how it improves the quality of your life, in my opinion. But you don't need to use it. I would start with all those simple keys, and then I would definitely optimize your environment, and then this optional tech of RA optics glasses, Flux software, and Aura Ring. And then you can sleep to win. Because again, your consciousness is dependent upon the quality of your psychophysiology, and your decisions is dependent on the quality of your consciousness. And your business and your life is dependent upon the quality of your decisions. So it's this trickle-down effect, starting from how you're treating yourself and how you're living your life and how you're optimizing for success. So this is what I have as far as sleeping to win. The last thing I'll mention just briefly is almost all mystic traditions saw sleep as a time for the unconscious and conscious aspects of the self to integrate and have the opportunity to commune with divinity, to go inside, to understand deeper hidden desires, and to have your hidden desires actually manifest in your life. And so anytime you've, for instance, experienced deja vu, it's something that you've already experienced while unconscious in a dreaming phase that you're now experiencing in your conscious life. And so people who master the art of sleep, they can foresee different events that are to happen. They can see past events. They can digest past traumas and subtle tensions within the mind and the body. And I'll probably make a different video on this, about the art of exploring consciousness and awakening your mystic potential through sleep and through particular practices like yoga nidra, because I was taught an 8-step mystical practice with a specific lineage of yoga nidra that really isn't taught in a traditional yoga studio space. So I just do want to mention that, like, when you approach sleep as something divine, as a way to honor your consciousness and honor divinity that's sitting within your heart, you can set an intention, you can set a prayer, you can set a resolve, which we call in Sanskrit like a sankalpa, an intention, before you sleep. Let me be of service even in my sleep. Let me be in remembrance of the divine even before my sleep. Those are things I would pray, especially when I was a monk. And I would have these very beautiful experiences in my sleep and be able to maximize the 1/3 of my life that I spent unconscious every day, instead of just approaching the unconscious part of life in an unconscious way. When you approach the unconscious in a conscious way, you see that it's not as unconscious as you thought it was, and that actually there's a whole life that you can live within your dream state that can activate a lot of your potential and give you a lot of insight into existence and to your own inner realm. So I'll probably have to make a whole other video on that because this video is getting really long, but hope this helps. Go do some of these items and go sleep to win.